we play football and we practice football, and we're in pads, and the guys did a really good job attacking a very demanding regiment, and we played. Today a couple guys were held out due to being nicked up or bumped up. Nothing major. We don't see anything major, but overall just a very good spring. A lot of progress and a lot more progress to go, but I'm sure there's some questions on certain guys, so please go ahead.
What's impressed you about Luke? We saw him get the ball down the field today, strong arm.
He keeps his eyes down the field. He's very natural. I don't think he's phased in any way, shape, or form. I think he understands, protections really well. Therefore, he can slide in and out of stuff. He feels it well, and he's not afraid to let it go. He understands what's being played behind that front. He understands where the holes are. He understands where he can't go with the ball. And he made some really big plays today. He has about two he'd like to have back and held on to one a little bit longer than he wanted to. But really good football player. You could push him hard. You could coach him hard. He was raised really well. He's a tough son of a gun. So really happy for him this spring he had.
Malachi Tony, just the progressions he's made throughout since start spring, and see what he was able to do out there today. Just what stood out to you the most about Malachi?
Oh, a lot of things. I mean, he's a mature. His maturity in the preparation is what sticks out. If it's 5:30 in the morning, he'll be out there catching some extra jugs, balls. If he makes a mistake, he's going to come in and watch some extra film, spend time with some of the veteran players, and spend time with the coaches, and learn what he has to get better at. You can push him hard. Obviously, he comes from a family with really deep South Florida football bloodlines, athletic bloodlines, disciplined bloodlines, great culture at home, and he's he knows he has a ways to go, but he's had a great start to spring, and we are going to push him really hard this summer to make sure we maximize his potential. But again, really fired up about him and what he's bringing to the table.
Earlier in the spring game, offense had that 4-down drive, goal line stand by the defense. Just, how do you evaluate that? Like, is that good by the defense? Is that issues on the offense? How do you look at that and evaluate that?
You had to bring that one up, right? As an offensive lineman, what do you think I'm going to say?
I'm sure you probably weren't very thrilled.
I want to projectile vomit like this way on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, I'll tell you two things. Number one, great job from a schematic standpoint, just finding a way to expose certain gaps and timing it up really well, and even more so, a couple guys just hunkering down, putting their feet in the ground and knocking people back. So you can't take away from that. I mean, we kind of needed that. We hadn't done a bunch of short yardage. We've done short yardage. We haven't done a bunch of goal line in the spring for reasons obvious. But overall that was a great job by the defense. So I'll hold my personal feelings aside.
So Mario, I saw the players wearing Guardian caps, and knowing I've had my fair share of head injuries, I can appreciate it. Do you think that as the year goes on, that we could see a lot of these players wearing Guardian caps during the regular season, knowing it's in the best interest of the player, and it probably do to being comfortable with them?
I think that's something, it's a question more for the medical side of college football in general. I think college football continues to move towards a place where players are protected more and that they can still play fast and physical. So, it's a question where I'm not qualified to answer what is best in a game, but I know whatever is best and keeps our players most safe, we're always going to find a way to do it.
Mario, how would you assess the new defensive staff, their communication, the communication on the field with that side of the football today?
Well, I think hopefully you saw guys get lined up, and I think our tackling has already improved. I think our physicality has gotten better. Communication is key in everything, right? And certainly it was probably the biggest area to address. Alignments, assignments, and all that goes through communication. So a ton of improvement, a ton more to go. It's not where Coach Heatherman wants it yet, but certainly we've made a lot of ground towards there. And we've got, again, they'll have a week to kind of get their bodies back. Then we have some workouts, and then there's a lot of school stuff to take care of. But we're jumping as quick as we possibly can towards enhancing our program, our schemes, our development, our strength, our conditioning, and certainly our ability to play.
What is next for Carson Beck as he recovers from this deal?
Well, the good part is as our PLP, our player-led practices come up, he's going to be fully cleared for all of those. So he'll have the opportunity to have, about 16 of those before we even head into fall camp. So not to mention going on his own with the players. So there's a lot of opportunity coming up. He certainly took advantage of whatever he could mentally. The physical part begins on Monday. So we're excited for that.
One other question I have about the guardian caps. I know that's up to the medical people to make it. What have you learned about them so far, and what are your impressions of those?
Again, I think it looks like there might be positive things, but the data, it's hard to tell. It's hard to say what is what without taking a cohort of with them, without them. So I'd love to answer your question, but I just don't have the information as to, you know what I mean?
Well, your answers are fair. That's all I can ask.
With
Mario with
I was going to ask you about depth at running back and defensive tackle. Pringle, Wheatley, Humphrey. On that side of the ball, defensive tackle Dante Simpson. Obviously, Ahmad Justin. Have they shown you enough where you feel better about depth at those two spots in terms of bodies who can help you off the bench?
I think so. I mean, you saw the elusiveness of Pringle, and he's really got a burst that's pretty elite. And he got nicked up in spring, so he missed some time. So he's got to make up for that time. I think Chris Wheatley-Humphrey continues to grow, improve, get stronger. He's going to be a really good player. So we feel like we're gaining ground there. I don't think you ever feel comfortable with depth. I mean, that could change so quickly, so you always want to add more. You want to develop more. So we'll see. We'll assess it and go with it. And then on the defensive side, those guys have certainly gotten better. There are now 310-pounders that can move, that can bend, that can strike, that can get off blocks and make plays. They're becoming more physical. I think Damian Lewis and Jason Taylor have done a really good job. Coach Stroud, Todd Stroud, they've all done a really good job with those guys. And I think you combine that with Coach Mirabal and those guys going at it, it's a very much an iron sharpens iron type of practice setting. So a lot of ground made. I would never come up here and try to fluff up the spring. We got a ways to go, but man, we progressed so much. We're excited. We feel like every single spring we're getting better, and I feel the same way about this spring.
Let's do a couple more for Coach. Whether it's Luke or any other quarterbacks, I believe Luke from one to go middle.
Right.
Those throws back in the film, are they more beneficial from an education standpoint than maybe even some of the ones he said he wanted?
When you say the throw, what do you mean?
Like it is
The pick itself, the decision itself, the coverage, the concept going against it. Right. Well, they're trying to challenge that safety without getting into all the details on that particular play, and it's a snap decision. Either you have it or you don't, and you might not have it, but a good throw could make it happen. And I think he trusts himself enough, and he's gutsy enough to test the waters now, knowing that it could cost him playing time, but also knowing that it could also make a big play. We'll learn a lot watching film with Luke. We'll learn a lot with him continuing to take reps. But overall, from a decision-making standpoint, I think that one was dicey. I think I would have eaten that one or thrown it to the flat and lived to play another down. I think he might have been able to scramble instead of hold on to that ball late and get that illegal man downfield or illegal forward pass call. But aside from that, I think he did some really good things.
Mario with the secondary. We talked so much about the new guys, but Markeith Williams, what did he show you this spring and today specifically about what he can provide for you guys?
He got bigger, he got stronger, he learned the system. He's a guy that's been around here for a little bit, and you wonder, hey man, is this guy going to get on board? Is he going to do the things necessary to improve? I think he's committed himself more, but he's a guy that has a long ways to go also. But we're excited about his improvement, and we think he can be a very good player. So I'm proud of him for just buying in and trying to do it. And he's another guy, I'm going to say the same thing for all of them. We got to push them. We got to challenge them and bring out the best and make them be the best they can be.
All right, obviously, a big picture question, but I don't know if you've been able to follow what's been happening in Tennessee with their situation with their quarterback and, that whole thing. On a bigger picture, in this age of kind of player empowerment, NIL and everything.
This is going to be good. I can answer more.
So,
this is good.
In the age of player empowerment, when you just have discussions with players, just how do you go about that when in the kind of back and forth with that?
I think you stay real and you stay true to the program, and you make the decisions that are best for the program. Again, we mentioned it the other day. I told you, everybody's in the portal, and the portal's always open. Okay, you don't want to believe me. It's always open, and everybody's in it. So it all depends on what you're willing to accept, where you're going to draw the line in your program. And you got to realize something. Once you allow that to happen and you agree to it, well, prepare for a line of 80 guys doing the same thing. So we're not going to do that at Miami. And I say that without any hesitation. If anyone's thinking that, and they could be the best player in the world, if they want to play holdout, they might as well play get out. We don't want to do that. And we don't want Miami to become that. Too many guys have sweated, bled, have laid on the line on that field to ever become that kind of a program. So I hope that answers your question.
So Mario, do you feel like when you do these spring games, it's like going shopping, that you're trying to find depth somewhere along the way, where spots number 2 or 3, until you're ultimately able to find out what you have coming in?
No, sir. I just look at it as another practice and an opportunity to get better.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.